Alright, the objective for this lesson is 3.2. I can multiply and divide powers and use negative exponents. So first we'll talk about multiplying powers. So if we have a problem like x squared times x to the fifth, x squared I know means x times x, times x to the fifth means x times x times x times x times x. It means 5 factors of x. So I have 2 here from right here, and 5 here from right here. Now how many factors of x do I have total? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This would equal x to the 7th power. Let's do another one like that. So if I have y to the third, times y to the, let's do y to the fifth. That would mean y to the third is y times y times y. Y to the fifth is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factors of y. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 factors of y. So this simplifies to y to the 8th power. Let's do one with a coefficient in front. So if I have, let's say I have 3a squared times 4a. I know 3a squared is 3 times a times a times 4a is just 4 times 1 factor of a. I'm going to multiply all of this together. I can multiply these coefficients. 3 times 4 now is 12. And then I have 1, 2, 3 factors of a, so 12a to the third, because there are 1, 2, 3 factors of a. Let's do one with 2 variables. So if I have, let's do p to the third times q to the second times p times q to the fourth. Oops. So p to the third, q to the second means p times p times p times q times q. And then over here, I have 1 factor of p and 4 factors of q. So then when I simplify, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 factors of p, so p to the fourth, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factors of q, so q to the 6th power. Then we're going to do dividing powers. So let's do m to the third divided by m to the second. On top I have 3 factors of m, 1, 2, 3. On the bottom I have 2 factors of m. Then I'm going to look and I see right here I have m divided by m, and anything divided by itself is 1. So m divided by m is 1, m divided by m here is 1, so I'm left with 1 times 1 times m, which is just m. For the next one, let's do x to the 6th divided by x to the 2nd. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factors of x on top, 2 factors of x on the bottom, and then I look for things that can become 1. So here x divided by x is 1, x divided by x is 1, so I'm left over with 1, 2, 3, 4 factors of x, so x to the 4th power. If I have a coefficient in front, like if I have, let's do 9y to the 4th over 3y squared. That means 9 times y times y times y times y over 3 times y times y. So then 9 divided by 3 is 3, so I know I'll have a 3 in front. And then y divided by y is 1, so I have 2 factors of y left over, so 3 times y squared. If I have 2 variables, I'm going to do, let's do a and b. Let's do a to the 5th, b to the 4th, over a to the 2nd, b. So I have 1, 2, 3, I'm not going to have enough room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factors of a on top, 4 factors of b, divided by 2 factors of a on bottom and 1 factor of b on the bottom. And I'll look for things that can become 1. A divided by a is 1, a divided by a is 1. I can't do a divided by b, but I can do b divided by b, that's also 1. So I'm left with 1, 2, 3 factors of a, so a to the 3rd, and 1, 2, 3 factors of b, so b to the 3rd power also. Okay, just like positive exponents are repeated multiplication, negative exponents are repeated division. And a trick I like to use to help me remember how negative exponents work is to use the happy fence. So negative exponents always jump the happy fence and become positive. So the first kinds of examples we're going to look at are ones that you need to rewrite using a positive exponent. So if it says to rewrite using a positive exponent and we have 1 over x to the negative 4th, anything that has a negative exponent, like this x to the negative 4th, is negative, it's unhappy where it is. It's going to jump the happy fence. That line is the happy fence. So it's going to move to the top, and when it moves to the top, it becomes positive. So now I have x to the 4th. There's nothing left on the bottom besides a 1. I don't need the 1. I can just write x to the 4th power. Same thing if it starts out negative on top. So if I have, let's say I have y to the negative 6th power, I know I can turn this into a fraction by putting it over 1. The y to the negative 6th is unhappy where it is. It's negative, so it's going to jump the happy fence and become positive. And then there's nothing left but a 1 on top. The next kind of example is to rewrite using a negative exponent. So if I have a problem that has a positive exponent in the bottom of a fraction, like 1 over x to the 3rd, I can rewrite that using a negative exponent. Same rule applies. If this jumps the happy fence, when it jumps, it's going to switch and become negative. So I have negative x, or x to the negative 3rd over 1. I don't need the 1, so it's going to be x to the negative 3rd. If for the next example I have x to the 6th, and I want to rewrite that using a negative exponent, it would have to jump the fence and go to the bottom and become negative, and then I have 1 over x to the negative 6th. Okay, the last thing we need to do is simplify using negative exponents. So if I have, let's say I have x to the negative 4th over x to the negative 8th. X to the negative 4th is unhappy where it is. It's negative, so it's going to jump to the bottom of the fence, become positive. X to the negative 8th is also unhappy where it is, so it's going to move to the top of the fence and become positive. Now I can use my division rules that I learned before. So I know this means I have 8 x's on top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 4 x's on bottom. And then I can find x divided by x is 1, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, so I'm left with x to the 4th power. Okay, for the next one, let's do x to the 6th times x to the negative 2nd power. And x to the 6th is already happy where it is, so it's going to stay on top of the fraction. But x to the negative 2nd is not happy, so it's going to move to the bottom of the fraction and become positive. So it will be x to the positive 2nd power. And then we can use our division rules to simplify. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factors of x on the top, and 2 factors of x on the bottom. X divided by x is 1, x divided by x is 1, so I have 4 factors of x. So my simplified answer would be x to the 4th.